Okay. So we're going to talk about the human product of evolution, product of that which has become industrial, the information evolution, the revolution, whatever you want to call it. And as these things were understood in the world and being utilized, I mean, it's very much done on a very fascinating principle, which is the law of attraction in essence. You have somebody that will study a way to become more successful in the world. They'll study by watching people and watching their behavior, and through watching people and their behavior, they'll come to conclusions on what could interest people to act and focus their attention, what could attract their attention sufficiently that they would embrace a point, and thus the person will become wealthy simply by studying human behavior. So obviously, when they realize that if you study human behavior and you can see what would be a point you can present that will be attractive to the human, you could become wealthy. It became a total industry. This industry has filled all that you now experience and what has been the recent history of the industrial, technological, information, knowledge revolution, the evolution. Your evolution has been directed deliberately according to what you pay attention to, what you are willing to pay for. Okay, and in that, the mind system as it exists within you has also upgraded and become more effective. And it has been using very simple organs. It's been using pulse. Do you know what is pulse? I mean, you can measure your pulse, it's your heart rate. It is something you trust, isn't it? Because it's always there, it is keeping you alive, it is pulsing. And each one has got a different pulse. Each one has got different points that make you feel comfortable. You walk into somebody's presence, have you ever wondered why sometimes you are attracted, sometimes you're repelled? It's because by the pulse the person is projecting. According to this pulse, you will make your decisions. So once the pulse thing were understood, it was not a giant leap to move from pulse to impulse. But you know what is impulse? I mean, you're sometimes impulsive. But there's another impulse. There is the placing or the presenting to you of an impulse that if it is presented enough times, you'll start pulsing with the impulse you were presented, and you'll start to attract what has been impulsed, and you'll start to believe it to be true. I mean, imagine the ultimate impulse that's become the center of attraction in the recent history for the last 2,000 years. The same message has been impulsed, that there is an invisible guy in the sky who sent his son to die for your sins so that you can do anything you like, you're okay, as long as you believe in him. And that this guy has risen from the dead. And he had 12 witnesses. I mean, where is the 12 coming in? What's on your pulse? Time. And time is what? A pulse. Total base 12 system. Once the base 12 system was clearly imprinted and taken into the mysterious of the astrological, the birth sign, the cycles, the moon cycles, the seasonal cycles, all the different cycles that all fit into this grand scheme of pulsing. An interesting thing developed. An understanding that the human being essentially is an electromagnetic machine. All the time within you there are pulses moving between your nerves and another nerve. The moment you have a thought, the thought spins. You have it enough times, it generates energy. That energy that's generated impulse the whole time in your system. And as it impulse, you've seen what Emoto has shown, what happens to a water molecule. You have mostly water. The water starts to take on that geometrical design until eventually that geometrical design is so imprinted that you don't even think it anymore, you do it. You take it from the concrete to the abstract. Say driving a car. Driving a car starts in the initial stages where you have to impulse your body and your senses into a coherent cooperation to functionally move all the parts of the car so that you end up in a condition that you call driving. And initially you go through practicing that, and you practice that, and you practice that until you get to the point where you're driving. But you don't think about it, because now you can drive and you can use your cell phone. And it's no big feat to do that. I mean, it was a story in the beginning, but now it's easy. You can chat away where before you, in the beginning, you were driving, you said to everybody, "Shut up, I'm trying to concentrate here." What are you saying? I was concentrating the impulse so that I can become this pulse, which is my living expression. I'm busy designing me into an effective, from my perspective, expression as a driver. Now, depending, for instance, on what type of driving school you went to or who taught you to drive, you'll have peculiar habits within your driving. You're not all going to be the same kind of drivers. It all depends on the type of impulse.